mean, because he's hubby, right?
Yeah,
you're not
definitely,
dating him, so obviously,
100%.
yeah.
I would say with him, and the thing that made him so much like that kind of separated him from other people that I've dated, and that is the fact that he is like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm a good communicator. He is legitimately a good communicator, and the reason why I say that too is the fact that not only does he communicate, but he provides a safe space to be able to communicate, if that makes sense. Like, even if we disagree, like, he's not gonna like cut me off or shut down or anything like that. He's willing to listen to my perspective. He understands, like, you know, we're two different people. I know that, like
the vulnerability.
Yeah,
allows
the
you to be vulnerable.
absolutely. And he doesn't, like, I know that I can tell him something and he may disagree with it, but he's not gonna like have that animosity or like hold on to it or anything like that. Like, we can legitimately have a conversation. Yeah, we could even agree to disagree, but I know that when we reach an understanding, we've actually reached an understanding, and that situation is beyond us. Like, he's genuinely
not holding
a
on to
really
grudges.
good, and he's genuinely a really good communicator. Like,
so
genuinely.
communicator is that a big thing that you've realized?
That I've realized along the way, it's more important than what I thought that it would be. I've realized that along the way.
I did want to go back because it kind of stayed on my head.
Yeah.
So this whole thing about no title, what exactly?
You want to go back to the situation?
Because it's actually someone could be like listening to that and figuring out like that is important.
It's very
so,
interesting.
but what exactly? Why was he not giving you the title? Was it because that's how you pick up on situations?
I honestly, to be honest with y'all, I'll be 100% honest. I think that he was the type of guy, like, he's a good guy, good person. He was the type of guy that I think he too had a checklist, and he's a checklist guy, but I think that he was more so checklist as far as what he ideally envisioned his woman to look like.
Okay.
And he and his family made it and he and his family made it very, very, very beyond clear. And this man is my complexion or darker, but made it very, very beyond clear that he's never brought a non-light-skinned girl home.
Wow.
Yeah, and I honestly think that was his holdup. Like, he's never he in his mind, like, his wife was gonna be like what is it, 4A, 4B, I don't know the numbers. Yeah. Like, you know, light and wavy, straight out the water, light skin chick, and I think he was very fixated on that. So.
Did you pick that up on that, like, in the beginning, or as you got into the relationship?
I just picked it up from his family. You know how families are. You know how sisters are. His sister he had a twin sister. Yeah. And his sister was hyped to meet me, like hyped. Yeah. And she was just like, oh my gosh, they made it
very clear.
They're
like, oh, he's never dated anyone.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, like we love her. Like, you're like, this is awesome. I'm so glad you got out of that light skin fix, is what they would say. And I'm not like light skin, dark skin, whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. And I think it does say something about him that, you know, to a certain level, he was able to look past like whatever preference or whatever. But I think that at the end of the day, he's like, oh, this is a good chick. But at the end of the day, he's like waiting on his light skinned girl to pop up. So he's like, I'm like a placeholder for like what he really wanted.
Until he's right shade.
Yeah, so crazy. It is what it is.
And I mean, the reason why I brought that up, because it is important to know from him to where you are right now. Yeah. Because I wanted to talk about how women get in their own way.
Yeah, for sure.
So, referring to the light-skinned shade dude, I mean, and I guess that was his preference, whatever. Yeah. But have you, because everybody liked you in the family. Yeah. Have you been in that same position where you didn't want the guy because of a height, a physical preference?
Let me think. I can't really think of one. Honestly, I'm sure that if I'm being honest with myself, I'm sure that I have been in that position. Yeah. But I haven't been in the position to where
did you have on your list when he has to be my height or taller?
Let me look.
Or he has to be 6 foot.
I actually don't have height on my list.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm a petite girl, so I never really did have height.
Yeah, and I'm 5'2". Yeah, I'm 5'2", 5'3". Like, right. I mean, they better be taller than me. Period.
So taller than you. So you wouldn't date a guy that was 5 foot.
But actually, I had dated a guy
that was 5 foot.
That was like an inch taller or an inch shorter than me. He claimed to be 5'5", but my sister, when we stood.
C'était pas la vérité. Ouais.
I think sometimes guys' height metric is different than girls' height metric. Yeah. Because these guys will be like, oh, I'm 6 feet. And I'm almost looking at them in the eye. I'm like, where are you 6 feet at? Like, I'm 5'10". Like, if you're 5'10", you would just say you're 6 feet because you could pass. But
about that metric, I mean, y'all should probably comment that on below because I really think it's a thing.
Is there a different height metric?
I've really like talked to guys where I felt like I'm saying niggas. I felt like I talked to some guys where they were like my height.
Yes.
But you said you were 5'5".
It's the ones. Yeah, it's always the ones that say, "How about you guys?" I hope I'm free to say this.
Yeah.
How about you guys comment below if you've been height fished, not catfished, height fished by a guy that said that he has to say that he's 5'10" or 5'11".
Oh, to get with you.
Whenever they say they're 5'10" or 5'11", my sister.
It's a lie.
They are below. Because if they're 5'10" or 5'11", they would just say they're 6 feet. Because they could pass for 6 feet. But you can't pass for 6 feet, so you say you 5'10". You say you're 5'11".
So you're really 5'6" or 5'9".
5'8".
Interesting. Yes, please.
If you've been height fished, y'all, come on.
My brothers.
It's science. I'm telling you. 5'10", 5'11", guys.
I am interested. If someone is in like the chemistry or bio sector of like human development, I'm very interested to know about that because that is the thing. I've never like thought about it, but it is. Mm-hmm. So, So that was you never had a physical preference?
No, I never had a physical preference. I would say my only physical preference was not white.
Okay.
Period.
Oh, just not white?
Yeah, just not white.
Any other races? Asians and whatnot? Yeah.
That's fine, yeah. I mean, I would say, like, if I were to, like, piece together my perfect man, then he would be black, like, I'm black.
Yeah.
So I like myself.
Any type of blackness, you were good with it.
Yeah. But I wouldn't, like, if I met somebody that was coming at me respectfully, didn't have any of my do not haves, I would give them a chance, definitely. You know what I mean? Yeah. But maybe my... this is so terrible to say, but my tolerance, I feel like when people have more of what you're looking for physically, then you are more likely to tolerate certain things.
That is so true.
So it's like if you already come in white, you're coming with a child,
there's a lot against
and then you're
you,
coming at me with barely communicating. I'm like, nah, bruh. But if you coming at me straight up nigga mode, looking like a Morris Chestnut's nephew.
Oh, okay, girl. Okay, Morris.
And you coming at me with a degree, and you coming at me
ambitious and whatnot.
Yeah, and you coming at me with no kids and a nice family. Then I might be able to the communication is off, but we can work with you, son. My brother. We can go to
voila.
So
but do you think you've gotten in situationships with that because the guy had so many of the good things?
Physically? Definitely when I was younger. Absolutely. Yeah, because when I was younger, I was definitely... And that's another thing, too, because you kind of brought up earlier that you're, like, in the Congolese community, we're like, oh, by 25, you better have your man. But it's like, when I think about what my preferences were at 25, we'd be divorced by now.
Absolutely.
What? Absolutely. Like, there's no way. Because I've grown so much single. During that time.
Yeah.
And so what I thought I wanted at 25 and
it's so different from your 30s.
Totally different.
And what is that?
Totally different. I would say,
because even like I would say with me, my type in my 20s is completely different to what I got married.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because I didn't realize the importance of certain things.
Certain like characteristics.
Like when you're 21, 22, you're maybe like out of college or something, but most people haven't gone through a lot of like real life stuff
situations
where you are like, ooh, it's really good to have somebody that has a stable, like it doesn't have mood swings all the time.
Yeah.
Or it's good to be with someone that, maybe I'm more emotional. I might need someone that is like a little even
that part.
Or like, okay, we can't both be like high anxiety. Somebody has to be
the one that kind of tames it. Yeah.
Or budgeting. Like you don't really have much to budget at that age. How do you know, like, okay, if we're finances. Both spenders, like that's not gonna work.
Exactly.
But I don't think I saw the importance of that. At 21, 22, or even even knew myself in that. Like maybe at 21, 22, I probably would have told you that I had a good budget. But now looking back on myself, I can tell you I was terrible.
That was trash. Yeah,
that was trash. Like what I thought was good budgeting and good saving at 21, 22, and looking back, I'm like, that was horrendous. Like, I wish I would have done it differently. Oh, wow. But at that time, I would have said, oh, yeah, like, I'm good at saving. I'm good at budgeting.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So, just like the evolution of just maturity, you know what I mean? Just living life and stuff like that.
So what would you say to a girl out there about dating material, and because I talked about that in one of my podcasts, dating material and husband material. Because you know how they say wifey material.
Yeah, that's true.
It's both ways. There's husband material.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And then there's dating material.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Because I will give you my example. Like for me, for some reason, I think I always dated guys that were like 6 foot and taller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I will be honest, when I met Claude, I was like, I'm sorry, babe. I was like, But I think I was already at the maturity level to see past.
Evolve.
I mean, height was never like but I just never dated anyone that was,
less than
6 foot. So it was kind of like, you know, but coming from the previous relationship,
right?
I think prior to that, 2 relationships before that, it was kind of like, I need a guy that's got ambition.
Yeah.
So then I get into with a guy that's got ambition, but he's inconsistent.
Yeah.
No shade. Hopefully nobody knows. Anyways, pardon, you know, he was inconsistent. Didn't keep his word. But he was very ambitious. Like, I like the guy with swag, you know? My husband is not really that type that cares too much about, like, physical appearance. You know what I'm saying? But I was into that. Like, you know, you were, that was your type.
Right.
You're like, okay, ambition. Like, he looks good on paper.
Yeah, for sure.
Then you date the person. That's what I'm saying. Like, you get the evolution from each prior, you know what I mean? To figure out what's really important.
Yeah.
Like, is a man that's, like, my husband is a man of his word. Like, if he says he's going to do it, that was like a deal breaker for me. Like if you cannot keep your word from the past relationship, okay, the guy was in medical field.
Right.
But I had friends that were females that dated like her guy was in like a pharmacist and he's she's a nurse. And they made it work. But I feel like in my past relationship was always, I'm a doctor.
I'm busy. I'm a doctor.
And so she would always tell me, no, don't use that as an excuse. You know what I'm saying? For him. So that's what I'm kind of also wanted to ask you as far as like, you know, what was kind of like, you know, what was my type what is then? Husband material to you now? Yeah, if you have to talk to a girl, like, what is husband material? Because women get in their own way, and someone wants to get married, and if you don't, it's cool. Even if you are in a relationship, what is relationship material? And what is
I got you.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
I think a lot of it definitely has to do with just knowing yourself. Yeah. And just knowing like what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and then finding someone that complements. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a partnership. It's going to be a partner, right? Yeah. So it's like you want to find someone that complements. You don't want to find someone that you're going to butt heads with. So I think sometimes people get fixated on finding someone. Oh, we're so much alike. We like all the same things. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to work well as a team together. Yeah. I mean, it is good to have like some common interests,
similarities, but strengths and
you don't have to be twins. You don't have to be the same person. So I think when I was younger, I was more so focused on finding someone like me. Like, they like everything that I like. Adventurous. They do everything that I do. Yeah. They communicate the way I communicate. They come from where I come from, and I was so focused on being similar. So I think that's the first thing. Is like kind of getting away from that like concept of let me find someone that's like me, and also the opposite spectrum of that, shutting out anyone that wasn't 100% like you. Like it's okay if they like
are different.
So, like baseball, like I never had even been to a baseball game. I think
would that have been a deal breaker in the past? Like,
I don't think it would have been a deal breaker, but I probably would have been like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to go watch football. Yeah, like you know what I mean, or like
opening to new things.
Yeah. Or like with my fiance right now, like he's really into anime. I didn't know anything.
So is my husband.
I know nothing, and I still to this day. But it's like, okay, I'll sit and watch a few episodes. I don't know what's going on, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas in the past, I'd have been like, why are you into anime? You must not be my man. Why are you watching cartoons? Like, I don't know nothing about anime. Go find your anime boo somewhere else.
My husband gets like, he gets mad because I'd be saying, pourquoi tu regardes les bioman? You know, like bioman in French. She's like, stop calling. It's not cartoon. Right. I was like, it's not cartoon, like but you know,
yeah. So just being fixated on like finding someone that's like you, I think you kind of drift away from that and try to more so focus on someone that would make a good partner for you. That part. So I think that's a big one. And I think also just, like when we're younger, we're more impressionable. So it's like you want that approval. Like, ooh, do you like this guy too? Yeah. Oh yeah, I like this guy too. Like, so he's cool, right? He's good, right? Yeah. No, I mean, it could be parents, it could be friends, but I think more so like wanting someone because you other people approve of him, and or not wanting someone because other people don't approve. Because I know a lot of people.
That's maturity, though.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will straight up be like, oh yeah, my friends don't like him.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a character thing. So you don't, if it's not more so like the type of thing where people are in a group setting, they're like, ooh, this behavior is off. But it's more so like, ooh, he's cute. Oh, he's not cute.
Yeah, exactly.
Type of thing.
Exactly.
So it's like
the superficial things.
Yeah, the superficial things. And I think like when I was younger, I would always go after the guys that everyone always thought was cute. And I'm like, oh, everyone thinks he's cute. Okay, cool. So it's cool for me. Because I deserve who everyone thinks is cute.
Exactly.
As opposed to going for someone that has a good character and good, you know what I mean? I would lead with like, oh, this is like the person on campus that's doing this, or the person that's in school to be a doctor, or this is the person that is like the top athlete or something, you know what I mean? So instead of focusing on what other people are saying, like really make it about you. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, when the door is closed, it really is just going to be you and him. It's not going to be you, him, and your parents. It's not going to be you, him, and the Congolese consulate. It's not going to be you, him, and the pastor. You know, like it's going to be
only come for you because
right. So it's like, you know, find the person that's going to work for you. You know. So
and you brought up the Congolese thing, and
you knew I was going to.
Okay, c'est que je vais dire pour de cette yeah. What I will say is you're okay. So you knew that you wouldn't marry a Congolese guy, right?
No.
You open to it?
I wouldn't say that. I was always open to it. Yeah. But my experience is
it just wasn't flowing.
They weren't going to make let's put it on me. I wouldn't make a good partner for them. I wouldn't make a good partner for them.
Okay, no, and it's a good point because I want to bring that part because that's another way that we get. I'm not going to even limit this to Congolese. I'm African, Asians, whatever. Like anybody that comes from a high context culture, that push to marry within the culture can be another way we limit ourselves because there's a big world out there. You know what I mean? And that's why I was asking about your list. The fact usually that's a good variety. Like
it
just
is.
Not white. You know, it's a pretty Filipino. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not white people.
No. I mean, it's nothing racial. I think for her, it's more about culture is a big thing for her.
Yeah.
So I get that. Yeah. So I mean, I was open to white, but it had to be like British. I needed some. You know,
okay, a little bit of swag.
Yeah, a little. You know, people from the UK tend to have a little bit more. Yeah,
and they're more open and more exposed.
A little more, and you know. They like black girls out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do. They love the ladies.
Exposure is huge. Not to like
exposure, exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, there's some white Americans that literally can go a whole month without seeing anyone else,
or they haven't left the United States.
Yeah,
you've been to Texas. You haven't left Texas. You know what I mean? So it's like you're not open to things. Yep. So
or exposed to things.
Exposed to anything. Yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. It's like I think a lot of African women. Get in their way because if it's Nigerian, it has to be Igbo, it has to be Yoruba. If it's Congolese, il doit être Kim, il doit être whatever. He has to be, you know, this and that. Yeah. And you completely, you were open to anything. And I think also your personality is. Yeah. I'm not saying all Congolese men. Congolese men tend to also be very... Okay. She's her own woman. Let's just put it that way, okay?
I'm smiling the whole time.
Yeah, you like to travel. She's a travel nurse, and I think it's not so much necessarily about Congolese men, but maybe she just didn't find that trait in a Congolese man, and it just happened to be
none that I had
who it did. Into. Yeah, no one that she ran into. Yeah. Can we talk about like how you never let that be a problem? Was that ever like? Did you ever felt the pressure where you had to marry? Like, I want to marry a Congolese man. Or was it always like...
I would say so, honestly. Okay. It was because, like, you know, I love my culture. Yeah. Like, I was open to the thought of being like, oh, let me find, like, a Congolese man and we can have, like, our 100% Congolese babies. 243, right. Yeah, just, like, live this 243 life. But, you know, I will also blame it on the region, too, because different regions.
You want to name drop?
Cincinnati. We can name drop. Cincinnati, I love you, but, Texas, you know, I can blame it on the region as well because it's like, yes, we're all Congolese, but I think a Congolese man that was raised in New York is totally different from a Congolese man that was raised in Kansas.
And that's why I was saying about traveling.
Yes. Yeah. So I think in a lot of my start of dating
your early experiences
Congolese
were
men
negative.
Were like the Midwest Congolese men.
Okay.
So,
and how were they?
They,
why were they not a good fit?
I would say
or
it was
why were
one
you
of
not
two
a good
spectrums.
fit?
It was either like, of course, like our parents come here, they group up with their Congolese friends, and I'm raised with Congolese as cousins. Yeah. So that's A. So you're done, right? So you're done from
as
jump.
Family member, yeah.
In my mind, like this is the only cousin that I know.
We need to stop doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like this is like my mom's best friend's son. This is my cousin. Like we're raised as cousins, and now you're my cousin. Period. Yeah, exactly. So that's how it is in my brain. And all especially of a sudden, not having easy access to my actual blood cousins all the time. So we really, literally, legit came up.
Everybody's your aunts and cousins.
Yeah. So that's A, and then B on the flip side of it would be that I think a lot of times Congolese men are more easily influenced by like the hyper masculinity factor of like I am man, I have no
the type
emotions.
A,
I am this.
Yeah. Like that's praised.
Yeah. And I just don't do well with that at all.
Like, I can see. I cannot see that working out with you.
It doesn't, because at the end of the and honestly, it's just not real.
Yeah,
it's not real life. Like you can't go through life like that.
And I think if ever worked in that day and age in Congo, because things have even. Les choses ont changé. Even in Congo, people have changed. Times have changed. Okay. Millennials have changed. But I think that concept came from that time. And maybe it just worked because women didn't go to school. Yeah. Women, you know what I'm saying? All they really did was stay home and
cook and make the home.
Yeah. So it's like husband is that. But now we're here. We're both working. We both have dreams. Right. We both have ambitions. Yes. So,
Yeah. So I'm just about things making sense. And I think that a lot of times the ones that I had tried to date, it was that they were kind of looking at, of course, which is natural. They're looking at their parents' relationships and how it's more of that like, not less of a partnership and more of like a I am man, I tell you what to do, and you either do it or you're completely quiet if you don't want to do it. Oh, wow. It's not like a back and forth type of situation. Yeah. Or they want someone to just be their second mom. And I'm not going to do that. Period. I'm not going to do that either.
Oh, my.
So it's like, because like you said, it's different if you're 100% in the home, make the home, and all this kind of stuff. But if we're both working 40 to 50 hours a week, then how does that make sense that I would come home and make your plate every day? Yeah. Like, so that it's just,
and even if you're working from home, it's still like working from home. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's still a job.
It is.
I think that just that problem that, and it's not even just Congolese men, even like African men tend to have that very like, you are woman. Submission in the right term, in the biblical term, it's not negative. Yeah. But it's like, you're woman, you have no voice. Oh yeah. Take care of these kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Bring my food.
And even things as small as liking sports, like that would throw a Congolese man off. Like, because I came up playing sports. Like I played soccer. I track.
I did too. Oh, that was a problem?
Oh, not that it was a problem, but it would throw people off. Like, because they feel like, Sunday is my man time, and I'm like, Sunday is my time too. What you mean? Like, I want to watch the game too.
She is the football player in the house.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, so even the things like that could throw them off sometimes. Okay. Or I think that there's more, I don't know why this is, and I don't think it's just Congolese. I think it's a lot of like African or even like Caribbean men too, I noticed. Like when it's like you just can't agree to disagree, or you can't have a healthy debate. They really want you to think their way or else it's wrong. Yeah. But it's like, hey, we're two different people. Of course, we're not going to think 100% the same way about everything.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So I think that was my main thing is like, a lot of the Congolese men that I did try to date, they weren't open to being open. They weren't open to hearing a different perspective about anything. It could be, we could be having a conversation about chicken. They didn't want to hear a different perspective. We could be having a conversation about anything. It's just like they really want you to fall in line with their way of life and their thought process.
Interesting.
And if you can't do that, it was like you couldn't coexist.
And like you said, Midwest things.
That was Midwest.
That was her experience.
That was my experience with that. That was my experience.
But it's a general trait that you do see in these African countries. So.
Sometimes. It's like, I'm not saying that you're a bad person or that you're not smart because I see things a different way.
Yeah, or because I'm outspoken.
I think they take it personal.
They do.
Sometimes when you see things differently from them, it's
Yeah.
almost like they take it as a personal attack against them. And it's like, no, I just am trying to provide a different lens, a different viewpoint. Yeah. And I'm not really the type of person that's going to not let my views be known. Especially with someone that I'm calling a partner or a boyfriend.
And that's a deal breaker.
Yeah. So
you feel
I'm
you
not
have
to sit back.
Because that's dangerous in marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you have like all this pent up animosity and you just blow up at
you have very unhappy women because of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you brought that point, and I was just to kind of end off the segment. I did want to talk about marriage in general, but also like time clocks. Like, you know, because it's big in the African community. You say that in the Congolese. Like, if you have your comments, like if you think any different, let me know. But it's also big in general.
Absolutely,
you know, I see some white girls that, especially white people, they get married really early.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Mexicans, don't get me started, because all my friends from junior high.
Yes,
it's funny. I have a Mexican friend. Like she's my age, and so she's not married. And like when I got pregnant last year, I was like, "Girl, I said we're late in the game." All our Mexican friends, she said, "Girl, we way late."
Oh,
she's
that's
like,
hilarious.
She's like, you should say me. I'm way late in the game.
Oh my god.
But like when it comes to age and like, do you mind saying how old you are?
No, I'm 35 and a half. I just had my half birthday February 1st.
Hey girl. Your half birthday in February? I'm done with you.
1st. Yes, I'll be 36 August 1st.
Yes.
My Cash App's open, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal. I got everything.
We're going to put that on the description below.
I'll link it.
She will gladly sing, even though she getting paid. Black niggas, somebody always trying to get some money.
It's a gift for my birthday.
Amen.
Period.
So let us
put it
bless
towards
her.
the wedding fund.
Send your tithes and offering. We'll send your Cash App.
That part.
So I want to talk about age, because age is a, and nothing wrong with you wanting to get married at a certain age.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Nothing wrong. It's up to you, but it's another way that we get stuck.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
following that, I want us to talk about like, because age, the reason why age isn't a big part, and I think you gave me your feedback on when I had talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah.
A lot of reason why age is a big thing is because women want to have children.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it's getting married, people are doing it different these days. You know, I mean, obviously, my personal preference was to get married and have children for my personal reasons.
Yeah, for sure.
So okay, can you just talk about why age, for you personally? Because I know I would ask you, but you seem like you had no stress.
None.
And this chick came to LA for her traveling nurse, was living it up, was planning to go to North Carolina. Then God was like, nah, fam, you about to meet your husband. But had it not been for her, for that, I think she would have just still been living her life.
Yeah,
and you were supposed to be about living my best life series, like I said, but it just didn't happen. But let's talk about age and why women, because some women will get married late, and then it's just you end up getting in a whole worse situation. Yeah. But you know, some women do get married early and have a good situation going on too.
Situation.
So what should matter in opposed to us thinking about, and I'm gonna follow up with that. Medically speaking, when it comes to freezing your eggs and what options women have. Yeah, for sure. You know, being that you're like a nurse.
Yeah, for sure.
What should be, or let me make it about you. What was your guide? Tell the people, how are you just out here living your best life? You're traveling. You're not pressed about your age. I'm not pressed at all. She was just, I'm like, her. Yeah. You should follow her. I'm still not. I'll get your Instagram name after that. Yeah, she was just living. And then it's like, it's funny because another girl was talking about it. She was like, man, I need to get like Velour. She just got married. And I was like, but I told her, I was like, here's the thing. Velour is 36. Yeah. Because the girl was talking about age. Yeah. You know? I'm not going to say her name, but she brought that up. But that's why I kind of thought of you. And I was like, but Velour was living her life. It's not that she was looking for this dude. I mean, I'm sure she had her issues with bad relationships, but literally the man found her. They literally found each other while she was doing her. Yeah, so for sure. What was your take?